Browns, Talkin' Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics, with the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
By Birds and Beans shade-grown bird-friendly coffee. birdsandbeans.com.
And Buteo Books, an independent family-owned bookstore carrying one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. ButeoBooks.com.
Good morning. Welcome to our show number 846. So as we do our show live here on the 22nd of August, we're doing our show here in eastern Massachusetts, and we mostly missed the fury of what is now Tropical Storm Henri. But we wish the best and good luck to our friends in the western part of our state in Rhode Island and Connecticut and New York, where they're kind of getting clobbered with that storm today. Meanwhile, we'll get a Can I Put My Bird Feeder Back Up update in a moment. But first, there's this headline. Scientists have created a new word for a certain kind of bird behavior. We wish ourselves luck pronouncing it, but we'll go with kleptocracy. Sounds similar to kleptocracy. But what is kleptocracy? Will titmice do it? Chickadees do it? At least some species of crows do it. It is birds stealing animal hair and fur direct from the animals. Scientists at the University of Illinois who were studying this phenomenon decided it needed a name, so they created one, and they combined the Greek klepto, to steal, with trick, T-R-I-C-H, meaning hair, and created the new word kleptocracy. Just another fascinating fact for your next socially distanced cocktail party. And thanks to our friend Andre up in Trois-Rivières, Quebec, for alerting us to this story. A toast to you, Andre. About the mysterious disease that is called illness for birds in about a dozen states, but which has now pretty much faded away. We heard last week that Pennsylvania was the first state where the Fish and Wildlife folks gave the okay to put feeders back up. Rhode Island has joined that list in the form of a statement from Rhode Island Audubon. It does seem likely that other states will soon follow, now that it seems to have been determined that some kind of poisoning has occurred, so sick birds have not been infecting other birds. And again, there have been no reports of any people becoming ill as a result of this bird illness. That's a bird that sounds like it's in distress, but not really. It's the call of our mystery bird. The identity of that bird will be revealed one way or another later on in our show. It's our mystery bird, and this is a little preview of that contest that's coming along. Our mystery bird is a large shorebird of the Pacific coast, found along rocky shores from Alaska to Baja California. It has a black head and body, a large red bill, and sturdy, dull pinkish legs. Our bird feeds on marine intertidal zone prey, including mollusks, which it pries open with its specialized blade-like bill. That would be our mystery bird. Preview of the contest coming along a little bit later on in this morning's show. The conservation news of the week. We had some exciting news about electric airplanes last week. Show number 845, in case you missed it. And now we're back to Earth, courtesy of a recent Bloomberg magazine article, which claims that the sales of internal combustion engine vehicles, gasoline-powered that is, have peaked, and that the future of the global auto industry now belongs to electric vehicles. That's from Bloomberg. By the way, there's no doubt that one of the issues affecting electric vehicle sales has been the cost. They are generally more expensive in initial purchase price, but a recent study made a comparison between the cost of Tesla's pure electric Model 3 and a Toyota Camry gasoline car. And the study found that the cost of owning and operating the Tesla over a 5-year period was actually slightly lower than the cost of owning and operating the Toyota. The devil, once again, in the details. Now a royal salute to the members of our royalty in our Talking Birds listening family and folks who are helping us to spread the word, get the word out about our show and about birds and conservation. Thank you to Claire L. from our hometown of Boston, Massachusetts, South Boston to be precise. She says she wants to learn more about the birds in her neighborhood, and there are lots to learn about, especially by a place called Castle Island. They're connected to the mainland, offers good looks at shorebirds and seabirds at any time of year. And Claire, by the way, recently visited the Birdwatchers General Store on Cape Cod and joined a photo session with our Mike O'Connor. Not sure if she got a free pencil or not. We'll check with Mike a little later. Thank you, Claire, for becoming a Talking Birds ambassador. And thank you to Etienne Martin from Mesa, Arizona. She says, what took me so long to make it official? I already talked to friends and family about Talking Birds. I talk about how much I appreciate different species of birds and conservation. Thank you, Etienne, who's also a great and active member of the Talking Birds flock. Still to come on our show today, we'll talk with John Vanderpoel, who created a big year and did some pretty spectacular things in the process. And he's written a book that we'll talk about called Full Chase Mode, Big Year of Birding in North America. We'll also talk with Mike O'Connor, that fellow we mentioned there in our Let's Ask Mike segment, about birding by ear with the newly enhanced Merlin app. Get kind of his review about it. Well, last week, our featured feathered friend was the world's smallest owl, the elf owl. And this week, we're going even smaller, a lot smaller. Our featured feathered friend thing is presented by Birdwatching Magazine. For more than a quarter century, Birdwatching has been North America's premier magazine about wild birds and birding. Let's put a couple of things together here to come up with this week's featured feathered friend. One thing is that it's the smallest bird in North America, north of Mexico. That would pretty well narrow down which family this bird belongs to. Combine that with the identity of the instrument we're listening to, and it would appear that we've got ourselves, right, the very small calliope hummingbird.
How small is it?
Well, it weighs about as much as a pencil, and I don't mean the mechanical kind. And it's about as long as a pencil. A golf pencil, that is. But it makes up for that short physical length with some long distance traveling, from well up into Canada and down into Mexico and back. That means it's the smallest long-distance avian migrant in the world. The calliope hummingbird is beautiful, too, with its green upper parts and, in the male of the species, long reddish-purple throat feathers. Its scientific genus name was, until fairly recently, Stellula, or little star, but it's been reassigned to the genus Salaphorus. But that also translates into something dramatic, flame bearer, while its species name, calliope, means beautiful voice. A tiny, beautiful bird with a tiny, beautiful voice. It's Salaphorus calliope, the calliope hummingbird. Today's Talking Birds featured feathered friend. Welcome again to our show number 846. Reminder about our website. We invite you to check it out at talkingbirds.com. No G in talking. A big year. You can think of it as a challenge for a birder and often a competition with other birders to find as many species of birds as possible within a single calendar year by sight or sound and within a defined area, like North America, north of Mexico, in the year 2011. That was the challenge for John Vanderpoel, who's here with us from just north of Denver, Colorado, to tell us about his remarkable big year and the remarkable book that followed, entitled Full Chase Mode, Big Year of Birding in North America. And good morning, John.
Good morning, Ray.
Great to have you with us, John, and great to learn about your book. And I've read a good part of it already so far, and looking forward to the rest. Some people, John, do a big year on kind of a spur of the moment almost, but you were you were kicking the idea around for quite a long time before actually taking the plunge there. What put you finally over the top to make that commitment?
I've been planning it for quite a while, working on the Advanced Birding video series for so long, 10 years of my life. I learned a lot about distribution, and I became more and more intrigued by doing a big year. And I guess the final point was convincing my wife that I might do that, and I wouldn't be around much for an entire calendar year.
Mm-hmm. So you managed to maintain domestic tranquility with that decision?
I did, yeah, barely.
Barely, okay. Well, John, you don't have an introduction in your book, but you have an intriguing cast of characters, and just a few of them are the Hitman, the Musketeers, the Red Queen, the Valley Girl, and the Tsar. Tell us about a couple others of those characters that were all part of this big year.
Well, a couple of others. There were quite a few, but the one that comes to my mind first is, of course, the infamous tour company, Rock Dove Tours, which I'm a long-standing member of. The essence of Rock Dove Tours is way too complex to go over in this short time, Ray, but I will leave you with our tour guides or tour company's motto. It's half the price and pause for dramatic effect, but unfortunately, half the birds.
That is probably the most honest motto I've ever heard for a company.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Well, yeah, we'll focus on the half the price part of that. That's all right. Well,
Okay.
The chapter names, John, are just as intriguing, including one called The Pelagic Jinx. And maybe you could read for us a little bit the first paragraph of that, in which you'll be starting off quoting the great Debbie Shearwater, and tell us a bit more about the Jinx, maybe who the Jinx was.
Sounds good. I'd be delighted.
All right.
I'm Debbie Shearwater, and I want to welcome you aboard the New Sea Angler out of Bodega Bay. First of all, I'd like to do a show of hands of anybody taking their first pelagic trip. We were still docked at the pier. The queen bee of the Western Sea was holding court. Her palace was on the deck of a boat, and her kingdom was the Pacific Ocean. Tucked beneath her green and black Gore-Tex jacket, with her long blonde hair braided in a ponytail that spiraled out through her pink baseball cap, she resembled a Viking sea queen more than Elizabethan royalty. There was no doubt about who ruled this moment, and all of her 45 subjects on board were cognizant of this fact. Several hands shot up. These people must be listening in awe. Debbie Shearwater is a legend. She organized her first pelagic trip back in 1976 out of Monterey Bay, and for the last 35 years, she's been running the most complete selection of pelagic birding trips in the world. She has an uncanny knack for finding seabirds in the vast openness of the Pacific Ocean, and has put California pelagic trips on the radar of birders worldwide.
Yeah, she is something else, Debbie Shearwater. She's been on the show with us. She was here in Massachusetts a few years ago and came in and did the show from the studio here. She's a little out of her element here, but but out there she certainly is in it. And of course, she was famously portrayed, I believe, by Angelica Houston in the Big Year movie as well. And
yeah, right. Yeah, in the movie, she actually pulled a knife on Sandy Comito, the man at the time who held the Big Year record, and whose record I was chasing in my Big Year.
Mm-hmm. And she has claimed since she didn't actually do that in real life.
No, she didn't. But she found a way to get that in there. It's great publicity. But no, I'm quite certain she didn't.
Uh-huh. Well, speaking of your chases, you mentioned you started, if I'm right, with a goal of 675 bird species, but you went way beyond that. I don't know if you want to reveal your final number here, but It's correct, I believe, that you reached 700 species faster than anyone had done before, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been told by Chris the Hitman who's kind of a connoisseur, let's say, of big years. Mm-hmm. And I ended the year with 744 species.
Wow. So this isn't just like, I'm going to go out and look for some birds today. There's a lot of planning, obviously, and strategizing about this. Did you have any kind of unique strategies that you used to be so efficient?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to focus, I think, to do a big year. The 5 most important states in North America that you've really got to hit are Alaska, California, Arizona, particularly southeast Arizona, Texas, and Florida. So my strategy involved a lot of time in those, and my corner pin was going to be Texas.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that just knowing those particular hot states that you really just have to get to is a major part of that. It is. Yeah, for the first half of the year at least. Mm-hmm. And then once you've got the basic birds, and there's a lot of them, and they're not easy to get, then you've got to be flexible, and you've got to be willing to go for the rarities. Because what a big year is really about is trying to see as many rare birds from Mexico, birds from Asia, birds from Europe or the Bahamas as you can in your big year. Mm-hmm. Well, John, there's a lot of criticism sometimes for folks doing big years because of all this traveling in cars and boats and airplanes and all that sort of thing. But you're not just a birder, you're a conservationist too. You've done a lot of conservation stuff in the process, and you spent a lot of money on this big year, but you also raised money for a conservation group, right?
I did. I spent a lot of money. I spent $58,000. I figured that didn't count food, but a lot of times I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so it was probably less than I ate at home. And that is quite a bit of money, but it was worth it, and it was certainly less than some people spend on a luxury car, which I would not do. And you're right. I did raise money for conservation during my big year. Conservation is a real important thing for me. It always has been. And I raised close to $5,000 for Citizens for Conservation. That's a cutting-edge volunteer organization in the Chicago area that specializes in oak savanna and prairie restoration.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good for you. John Vanderpool, known as the creator of the 3-DVD Advanced Birding Series, is the author of the most entertaining and fascinating new book, Full Chase Mode, Big Year of Birding in North America. It's published by our friends at Buteo Books, and you can get it through them, too, at buteobooks.com. John, congratulations on the big year and the beautiful book.
Yeah, Ray, thank you so much, and thanks for letting me share with your listeners.
Our pleasure, indeed. Coming up next here, it's our Mystery Bird Contest in just 1 minute. The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4-VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com. That's our mystery bird, a large shorebird of the Pacific coast, found along rocky shores from Alaska to Baja, California. It has a black head and body, a large red bill, and sturdy, dull pinkish legs. Our bird feeds on marine intertidal zone prey, including mollusks, which it pries open with its specialized blade-like bill. What is that mystery bird? Call us and tell us as soon as you can, so we'll have time. It's 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. Your reward if you get the right answer, or win by dint of a drawing if no one does get the right answer, include the Droll Yankees original iconic A6F classic tube feeder, featuring durable metal parts that squirrels can't chew. In fact, that's backed up by a lifetime guarantee against squirrel damage from Droll Yankees. And our bonus prize is something that we are very fond of, and great to have these wonderful folks with us providing this great prize. It's the Feather-Friendly Window Marker Kit, because we care about saving birds, and millions of birds are killed by crashing into windows every year, and not just in big skyscrapers either. This is in our own houses and that sort of thing. So the Feather-Friendly Kit will make your windows safe for birds. Easy to put up, and backed up by numerous bird conservation organizations like the American Bird Conservancy and the Fatal Light Awareness Program. So those are our prizes, and great ones they are. 781-837-4900 is the number to call on our Mystery Bird Contest. Meanwhile, we'll check in with Mike O'Connor. Let's ask Mike live in just 1 minute. Buteo Books carries one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. New, used, and rare books covering everything from backyard birding to general ornithology, from field guides to photography skills, biography, fiction, and humor. You'll find it all, along with the knowledgeable customer service you've been looking for, in one convenient place. ButeoBooks.com. B-U-T-E-O. ButeoBooks.com.
Hi, my name is Tama Watts, and I'm calling from San Marcos, California. I decided to become a Talkin' Birds ambassador because I'm passionate about birds and I love the show. I really encourage listeners to become ambassadors because it's another opportunity to share your love and passion and appreciation for birds for Talkin' Birds.
Talkin' Birds listeners, we hope you'll join our ambassadors family at talkinbirds.com. Join today, and thanks.
The Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod, is our destination right now with Mike O'Connor, who's down there. We're ready to talk to him now. And Mike, good morning to you.
Hey, it's sunny on the Cape, and now in the middle of a hurricane, it's still sunny. I'm not kidding this time.
Yeah, oh, really? Wow. You were clipped off a little.
Yeah, we dodged something this time because the sun's out. I know it's bad other parts of the state, but it's pretty nice here right now. So we lucked out.
Okay, so there's still room for folks to come to Cape Cod, then, I guess, right?
Yeah. We got 3 more spots available if they want to come. So tell them you know me; they'll let you in.
They'll let you in for free as well, or at least at a very discounted price. Anyway, well, Mike, everyone knows you're a bird expert, but are you also a bee expert? I've heard that. Maybe,
I think I struck out on this one. A few weeks ago, I did a thing where I said we had a bee's nest by the back door. My wife's allergic to bees, so I took it out with some high-powered water spray because they didn't want to use poisons, and they made the house safe for my wife, and which was a good thing. But then I got an email from one of your listeners, and I don't know who he or she is because they didn't leave a name, but they work at or they own Harbor Hives, which is apparently the beekeeper, and they just informed me that what I had were wasps. I didn't have bees, so apparently that was my mistake. They were wasps. They weren't bees or honeybees or anything like that. They were wasps. I'm still not sure what species they were, but I had to correct that because the bee people get upset when people mix up bees and wasps. Yeah. And basically, David Clapp told me they were bees, so I'm blaming him for that. I
was going to say that was probably the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, he didn't, but I'm just saying that anyways. Anyway, so what else we're talking about today?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm supposed to introduce the other topic, I think, but I've forgotten what the topic was. Oh yeah, it was it's the new sound ID capability of the Merlin app.
Right.
And you've been trying it out.
Right, I did try it out, and I got a couple of complaints. First of all, it came out this summer, which is like getting a bike for Christmas because you can't really use it because the birds are quieter this time of year. I would love to have had this in the spring, and I'm looking forward to use it in the spring. And you get a bike for Christmas, the snow on the road, and you can't really ride the bike. Well, that's my analogy there. But I still tried it out anyways. And first of all, I think everybody should get it. It's totally free, which is the best news. Takes a little bit of room on your phone and the smartphone, so you can't use it. You can't use it at home on your payphone, right? You got to use regular on a
no dial-up. Okay,
that's right. But I tried it out, and it's pretty amazing. It works really, really well with the standard issue generic calls. You get a cardinal, you get a blue jay. It kind of identifies those really easily. I liked it. I found from customers whom I've talked to, they get excited about some kind of rare birds being in the yard according to the app. I think right now they need to tweak it a little bit because it's giving a lot of people some kind of, well, it's not the app's fault, but they tell you that these are the possibilities, but everybody else is jumping on the rare bird. They're saying, oh, hey, look. But here's the exciting thing. It records exactly what you hear. So it records it and it saves it on your phone, and then it turns it into some digital thing so it can read the information. But you have the actual recording. So when you think you have a vermilion flycatcher in your yard, you have the actual recording, and you just tap on the picture and it plays it. It's amazing. But when it's something dubious, like somebody in the East having a vermilion flycatcher, you can play that for somebody like David Clappin will tell you, no, that's a house rent or something. So it actually can save it, so when there's something you're not sure about, you can save it and play it again. So I would get this app and use it and learn from it. Just know that it's not 100% perfect, and don't get all worked up you've got a rare bird, because you might not. But still, I would definitely, and I'm looking forward to use it in the spring. And a shout out to Claire for coming in. It was great taking a picture with her, but she didn't get a pencil for that.
Oh, no pencil. All right. Well, I've got one here. I'll send her a pencil. All right, Mike. Thank you so much for all that info, and we will talk to you next week.
Sounds great, man. Bye-bye.
We'll back to the Mystery Bird Contest right after this.
Every Wednesday, Birdwatching Magazine sends an e-newsletter full of information of interest to birdwatchers, including recent news stories about birds, conservation, and science, photography tips, stories about places to go birding, bird ID tips, and much more. Best of all, the newsletter is free. Sign up today at birdwatchingdaily.com/newsletter.
Well, would you look at that? We're getting short of time here. Can you believe it? Let's go to Jeff in Truro, Massachusetts. That's down at Birdwatchers General Store territory down there. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What do you say our mystery bird is, Jeff?
I'm thinking it's the common stilt.
The common stilt? Or
yes.
Common stilt. There seems to be the common music there for not exactly what it says here on the paper, and that's what we go by, Jeff.
Okay.
But thank you for the try, and try us again.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We go to Matt. We mentioned Quebec earlier. That's where Matt is, as a matter of fact. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. Good morning. You heard all the clues and all that jazz. What do you say about the identity of that bird?
I would say it's a black oyster catcher.
Let me see if that's what's on the paper here. Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. Black oyster catcher is absolutely right. Nice job, Matt. Stay on the line, and we'll arrange to send you that neat stuff.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Identifying the black oyster catcher as our mystery bird. We're out of time for this morning's show. That means we get ready for our next show. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next week.
The Bird Show. I like that.
Ray Brown's Talkin' Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
By Vortex Optics. With the VIP warranty, their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
By Birds and Beans shade-grown bird-friendly coffee. birdsandbeans.com.
And Buteo Books, an independent family-owned bookstore carrying one of the largest selections of birding books in the world. Audiobooks.com.